Hey you guys, my name is Josie. Does anyone remember the Electric Company? Growing up in the 2010s, I watched a lot of PBS, but one of my favorite shows was the Electric Company. I grew up on the 2009 version, but originally aired in the 70s by Sesame Workshop. It was meant to be a sort of graduation from Sesame Street. Each episode began with the iconic, "Hey you guys!"
Just be quiet.
The best way to describe the show is that it's like SNL, but with an emphasis on reading and literacy concept inside the skits and music. During its run, it became the most used TV show inside of classrooms, and for good reason. It was funny and entertaining, while still teaching valuable reading and literacy concepts. I won't be going over the entire 71 to 77 series, because there's like 780 episodes over 6 seasons. I would be graduated by the time this video was done. Unfortunately, the Sesame Workshop came at a crossroads where they had to cut either Sesame Street or Electric Company. And Sesame Street was basically paying for itself in merchandise, so the Electric Company got the boot. The Electric Company was given 2 more seasons for reruns, and then it was gone. Until 2009, when the new Electric Company debuted, now developed by Karen Fowler. A new season aired in October with some notable changes. They moved away from a disco vibe and gave it more of a hip-hop influence, but it still had sketches and music and animation. But in between all those, they started to incorporate story, like a plot. They gave lore to words. This show is peak 2009. Like, especially in the design choices, I can smell the 2010s coming out of this show. This show had a good chunk of nowadays celebrities just at the start of their career. Like Jimmy Fallon, William Harper, Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Silent E is a ninja. Silent E is a ninja. The Silent E, he will get you. Silent E is a ninja.
The show tends to lean on suspension of disbelief and is kind of loosey-goosey with the plot. So the best way to kind of introduce all the characters and everything might be to walk you through the pilot episode. We open with our protagonist Keith playing horse with his kind of mentor figure Hector. Not sure why Hector's friends with this kid. I mean, his sister is Keith's age, but we find out later that Hector is in college, and Keith is not in the Electric Company yet. So, how did they meet? Why are they playing basketball? We find out these people have legit superpowers when Hector sucks at basketball and scoops letters right out of the air like peanut butter and chucks them to form an S on the ground. So these are called word balls. They can be thrown to change or even create brand new words. Hector makes his next shot, but Keith insists he caught some rim, which on further review is completely untrue. That was clean all the way down. But Keith is insistent, and is so insistent that he accidentally throws a word ball to give him an E. This being exciting news, they all run back to his dad's diner called the Electric Diner, so that Keith can ask his dad if he can join the Electric Company, now that he has the power. And as a side tangent, they never explain how rare the power is. I mean, we never see anyone outside the main cast use it, but Keith's dad only acts mildly excited about this. It's just kind of a cool thing. I mean, for heaven's sake, he doesn't even know anything about it.
So how does all this work?
Well, we all have our basic word ball skill, right?
We think of the word and then we throw it.
But when you take the pledge to be an Electric Company, something even more incredible happens.
This is Francine, by the way. She's kind of in charge of the rival group called the Pranksters, and she's been spying on Keith this whole time. So they break into song here. This show's a musical, by the way, and it goes hard.
It happened to us, now it's happening to you. All kinds of letters coming out of the blue.
See your word in your brain, then out come the letters. Well, hold on just a second, man, it only gets better. We got skills, we got mad, super fast, special skills.
So the song here is to introduce all the members of the Electric Company and their special skills, which is a little extra power that they get for joining the Electric Company. Jessica's is by far the coolest. She can replay anything that she hears and also transcribe it, which honestly would be super helpful during lectures. Oh my gosh. Hector's power is pretty similar, but instead of audio, he's able to show you any image he's ever seen. So don't judge guy like National Secrets or anything. Lisa's skill kind of sucks, to be honest. She can rearrange letters like that anagram kid from Spy Kids 4. Please tell me I'm not the only one who watched that movie.
Did you know your name is an anagram? Armageddon.
After that whole sequence, Keith is finally ready to take the pledge to join the Electric Company.
Raise your right hand.
Do you understand the seriousness of what you're about to do?
I do.
Do you recognize the awesome power that lives inside of words?
No!
Do you accept this power and all of the responsibility that comes with it?
I do! Oh! Francine, what are you doing here?
Hello, Electric Company.
Uh-oh, Francine just stole Keith's special skill. But that was really easy, to be honest. For something that's so monumental, they are just doing it in a random diner. What were they expecting? So like I mentioned before, in between these story sections, they have little skits and music. And yes, they cooked. Lin-Manuel Miranda was really only in these kind of like shorts, though he did help compose a lot of the songs. And he was in one episode in season 2, where he played a hot dog sheriff who rap battles against a bad apple.
Bad apple, give me another word. I can make it positive, rest assured.
Jealous.
Joyful.
Impulsive.
Refined.
Gross.
Great, what else you got on your mind?
This is dumb.
It's divine, I'm delighted you visited.
Miserable.
It's a little magnificent, isn't it?
Oh, I love this show.
Now I look totally insane.
So going back to the story, we are now introduced to the pranksters. And these guys are honestly my favorite part of the whole show. So first we have Annie Scrambler. She can stomp on the ground in order to scramble words around her. Then we have Manny Spamboni, who doesn't really have a power, but he's really good at gadgets and gizmos and like can make really cool stuff. So I count that as a power. Next we have Danny Rebus, my personal favorite. And with a wave of his hand, he can create rebuses on any surface. And finally, we have Francine Carruthers. She is kind of like the leader of the prankster group, and is the only person outside the Electric Company we see have the word ball power. The plan the Electric Company comes up with to get Keith's special skill back is to have him infiltrate the pranksters and convince them that he has all the special skills of the Electric Company. And then Francine will want to trade skills with him. But for some reason make a point in saying that he can't lie.
And remember, in the Electric Company, we don't lie.
I'll just choose my words carefully.
Yeah.
This makes for some pretty awkward dialogue, and I'm not sure why they said this here because they never bring it up again in the rest of the show. Like, all the rest of the cast just casually lies, like, you know, regular people, but apparently in this one episode it was important.
It does appear that way, doesn't it?
After convincing Francine that Keith has all the special skills, Francine demands that they trade back, only to find out that she was duped.
There's no sound. What is going on here?
Wow, you sure blew that one, Francine.
You got school?
Nice job, genius.
Okay, but like, look at that thing that Manny is riding away on. That is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Where can I get one? Now the day is saved and Keith has his skill back. He can finally use it to draw the most terrifying horse I've ever seen. Holy smokes, can we get rid of it, please? Finally back at the cafe, they sing one last little song to end it off.
As we use our power, we guarantee to honor the name of the Electric Company.
Don't mind Paul the Gorilla. He's actually the only returning character from the old show. This show is great. It's funny, it's creative. It has 5 vocab words put in each episode that are not only said, but also explained by members of the cast. This show won 3 Emmys for a reason. In season 3, they might have had some casting problems because Lisa and Keith's dad never show up again in the main story. I mean, Hector takes over the Electric Diner, and Lisa's relegated to just the shorts in between episodes. But to replace her, the Electric Company lets Jessica's friend, Marcus Barnes, join the Electric Company after he finds out he has the power while playing baseball. His special skills like math and numbers and stuff, they don't really explain it, like, at all. But I think he's supposed to have ADHD and it messes with his word ball power sometimes. But this is also 2011, so I doubt they would, like, say that blatantly. Season 3 is also when they launched something that consumed my ever-waking moment at the time. Prankster Planet.
Prankster Planet, Prankster Planet, the word sucker up sucking up words. So it's Jessica and Marcus to the rescue. There are 13 buttons to shut it down, but pushing them all is up to you. Prankster Planet, Prankster Planet.
At the end of each episode, there'd be an animated short about the adventures of Jessica and Marcus on Prankster Planet. These shorts were my favorite part because they really let the story stretch its legs. Like, from the plot to the humor to, like, the wacky adventures, it just, in the animated format, it really let it breathe. What's even cooler is that at the end, Jessica and Marcus would get in some tricky situation created by the pranksters, and they'd look at the camera and say,
Hey, you guys!
Go to pbskidsgo.org. Press that off button.
and invite the watcher to go and play the very real game online. This game was everything to me at the time. The plot was that Manny had built a word sucker-upinator that was sucking up all the words on Earth, and it was Jessica and Marcus to the rescue. But arriving on Prankster Planet, they found that their word ball powers no longer worked.
Prankster Planet, Prankster rules. Rule number 1, the electric company's powers don't work here. Rule number 2, there is no rule number 2.
And so using their wits and math skills, that's right, this game focused more on arithmetic than it did literacy. They had to press 13 off buttons to shut it down.
If you were making off buttons, why didn't you make 100 or 1,000? Or just not give the word sucker-upinator any off buttons?
Because, let's stop talking, yo. The point is, you'll never find them without this map.
And if you beat the entire game, you even got like a little certificate saying that you were an official member of the electric company. And, you know your girls in the company. This game became even bigger than the show. Like, even after it was canceled in 2011 due to budget, Prankster Planet got a second installment about Francine's Reversiballs. That was season 4 to go with it. They actually went back and edited 8 episodes of season 1 and 2 to add the animated shorts at the end, but also adding Reversiballs, hitting various words and phrases on screen in the episode and reversing them. Low-key, one of the coolest things I've ever seen a TV show do. Both the series and the game were incredible. I mean, the diversity in this cast alone is better than some things you see today, and each episode is a joy to watch. I'm only really left with one question. Well, that's not true, I have a lot of questions. But I'm only left with one major question. What even is the power? So this show isn't really set up in a way that it has an overarching plot or a very complex lore. It's kind of like you take each episode as it is. But I say no to that. I will pull out each little string I can find in each episode, string it together into a big amalgam of whatever I'm about to tell you. So our main question today is, what is the power? Probably the best place to start is with our humans and their innate magical abilities. Because magic is just straight up real in this world. Okay? If you say the right words, you can turn someone into a lizard. You can turn someone into a whole bunch of different things. You can hypnotize someone and swap brains, even if you're advanced enough. Like, this magic is powerful stuff, and it's all based on what words you say. You have to know what words are the right words. Any human can do this magic, by the way. You just got to say the right things, like Annie Scrambler's learning how to become a hypnotist, and it's just based on making up a good enough rhyme that you can cause someone to fall asleep. Also in this world, we have the Skeleckians, all right? These Skeleckians are from the planet Skelecki. They're just straight up aliens who come to Earth. They have this necklace around their neck, which is the only way to identify them. More than once, it's said that they're easily mistaken for humans in the show. And I also think the necklace might be the thing keeping them alive on Earth. The only evidence I have for that is like it fell off an actor once.
Here to talk to us today about the mysterious creature. You saved my life, dude!
I got you.
That was like in a blooper. So it's not exactly canon, but it's something to think about. These Skeleckians have powers of their own. Like they can gain a special talent during a solar eclipse, or they can tell exactly when and where an asteroid is about to strike. These asteroids, by the way, are really special, okay? They're like big batteries. Even Manny Stamboni steals one at one point to power a gadget. This gadget, by the way, can suck up letters from signs and make them irreplaceable. He did this because he got an F on his homework, and in response, he created revolutionary technology that can create word balls using the Skeleckian power and the human technology. Similar to this gadget, on Prankster Planet, Manny builds the word sucker-upinator, which is sucking up entire words and is attempting to suck up all the words from Earth. Now, that sounds familiar to his letter sucking up machine. That thing was powered by a Skeleckian asteroid. What's powering this machine? Now wait, Prankster Planet is built on a big asteroid, okay? Is that asteroid a big Skeleckian asteroid? He's using the power, the word sucker-upinator, to suck up all the words on Earth. From what we know from the electric company, the people who have the power are Francine, Lisa, Keith, Jessica, Marcus, and Hector. But I want to focus on Hector and Jessica because they are siblings. We see some of the parents of the members of the electric company, but we never see both the parents. We know Lisa's mom, Keith's dad, We never see the other parent for anybody in the electric company. Now, looking at these parents, we know that they're human because they do not have the Skelekian necklace. But looking at Skelekians, their plants are compatible for breeding with Earth plants. Why not the people too? I think the power comes from having a human magic and Skelekian power hybrid, because this is not a relationship that's parent-child. Okay, the parents never have the power. It is a relationship of brother-sister. Two people inheriting the same set of genes from the same parents, really similar parents. I think that when you take the Skelekian raw power and you mix it with the human magic of conversation and communication, that makes it manifest in a physical form. And we know that this takes power because Francine gets tired of making too many at once. It drains her stamina. It comes from within. That power comes from their Skelekian side. But that communication, using those symbols, being able to convey messages, that comes from your human magic, where words matter. The magic comes from what words you say. And so when it's mixed with the power, those words become real. But something's interesting. So we know Skelekians been here for a long time. They made purple tea. Why aren't there more word users? There's another mystery. The Deputy Commissioner of Traffic for New York has the ability to shut off the powers of the electric company and the pranksters. Just cut them all off. And the pranksters break laws all the time. So why would they respect this one? Unless they were forced to respect this one. Unless it was like some kind of anti-magic seal. But why would that be in place? Why would New York have that infrastructure? And why would the Deputy Commissioner of Traffic, of all people, be able to activate it using executive action? Not even legislation. They could just be like, yeah, you're done, and cut it off. How did that happen? What kind of danger was posed by the people with the power? And why are these laws in place because of it? I think there was a war a long time ago, maybe like around like Civil War era. Okay, and it was between the humans and the Skelekians. And then there were the hybrids. There were the people in between. They were both Skelekian and human. These people had to choose a side. The Skelekians, their culture is not well known, at least in modern day. Their customs are often left aside. You have to go specifically to the library to read a book about it if you want to figure it out. People just don't know this kind of stuff. But they know the Skelekians exist and are okay with them existing. Because Skelekians have been up for a long time. But why have they been shunned? Why have they been forgotten? Because they were against the humans. And when the word users came in, they were the deciding factor in this war. The word users decided which side would win because of their immense power. I think in the end, they sided with the humans. And they let the humans win the war. They helped the humans, and they were able to take down the Skelekians. But the humans, seeing this immense power from these word users, they decide, we need a fail-safe. They developed this technology through geniuses like Manny Spamboni, and they're able to create a protection system. It has not had to be used yet, but it's been embedded in places like New York City. The word users, knowing about this, decide to go underground. They go undercover, and they stop teaching about their abilities. They stop spreading their traditions of words. After years of living underground, independently, new word users discover their power and reestablish the electric company. This new group vows to protect the neighborhood and only lets the most valiant and the brave into their group so that way they can preserve the privileges they already have, not take off the wrong people. And that is where Francine Carruthers comes in. Hector and Elisa establish the new electric company. They find out about the special skills and what happens when you induct someone into the electric company. Francine figures out she has the power as well. She can make word balls. And so she wants to join the electric company. She wants those friends. As someone who grew up as an elitist, upper class person, she grew up disconnected from everyone else, going to private schools. She wanted attention. She wanted friends. Guaranteed friends would come with the electric company. She goes to them and says, hey, I have the power. Let me join. But knowing Francine, knowing her heart, Hector and Elisa say no. And this is devastating to Francine. We see her longing that she shows in her face when Keith gets inducted. This is something incredibly important to her. But they shut her down. And so, an outrage, she goes and makes her own group. She makes the pranksters. But how to convince people to join them? Nobody likes Francine. Francine is mean. Francine is self-centered. And so she goes to someone who she knows can help her. Someone who's willing to bend the rules, someone who's willing to manipulate other people, just as much as Francine. Annie Scrambler. Annie Scrambler just discovered that she also has a scrambling ability by stomping her feet. And her uncle and aunt are both hypnotists. Her uncle's willing to do anything for Annie. So Francine can get Annie on board. Then she has her uncle as well. Francine had the Scramblers scramble the brains of Danny and Manny. She hypnotized them to make them worse, to make their bad personalities even worse, to make them more self-centered, to make them more sensitive. She did all this to make them miserable. And now that they're miserable, now at their lowest point, now that they're succumbed to the darkness, then she can manipulate them. That's when she strikes. That's when she puts them against the electric company. Says that the electric company is the source of all their problems, when that's not true. They're smart people. They can make friends with the electric company, but something is holding them back. Just this natural instinct to be self-centered, to take everything personally. These are the things that are holding them back, and they were created by Annie Scrambler's uncle, who hypnotized them and made them worse to make them miserable so that Francine could have her power to get back at the electric company, to embarrass Hector, to the people who took everything away from her.
How could you?
Dan, wasting all our time.
I wanted attention.
I wanted to make Hector look foolish.
I was bored.
But then that's not enough. She needs more. So she goes to space to create the Prankster planet and employs Manny Spamboni to convert this asteroid into a whole planet. She sets up another suppression field on the planet, copying the ones that have been established in places like New York. But this suppression field is a little bit different. It's powered by an entire giant asteroid. So she's able to make it to amplify the Prankster's powers, to make them more powerful, which enhances Manny, who is now able to build the word Sucker-Uppernator to give the
Total word domination.
Nice. Echo.
But these do not come without consequences. This is a giant Skulkian asteroid. This is enormous. This is huge. It holds an entire city on it, and more than that. You think the Skulkian will just give that away? Francine has now put in place the dominoes for a second human-Skulkian war. Once the word Sucker-Uppernator is shut down, Francine covers the planet with statues of her, statues of a human, at least someone that looks like a human. When the Skulkians eventually find Prankster Planet, see this whole resource that's been taken from them, something they could have used to make hundreds of washing machines. The human-Skulkian ties will be broken. The embassy is already not doing well, and the way they've been treated after the last war has been shameful. They've been forgotten, they've been clowned on, they've been pushed to the side. These Skulkians want revenge now. Seeing their entire resource go away, Francine single-handedly creates the next Skulkian war, which I think leads to destruction of the electric company if they're not able to fight that. So where does the power come from? It comes from matrimony and harmony between the Skulkian power and the human magic. But how long will it really last? Francine Carruthers' need for power, need for attention, need for fame, it's going to destroy everything that makes the electric company great. Francine Carruthers is the ultimate villain. She is a cult leader who deceives those around her to gain her own power. And she's a warmonger who will bring about the end of words. That's about all I have to say. If you guys loved this show as much as I did as a kid, all the episodes are free on PBS, so you can just go watch them there, except for 2 missing ones. Thank you so much for listening to me rant about this crazy little TV show from the 2010s. I loved making this video, and I love that I got to rewatch a show that I loved. If there's any other obscure TV shows you'd like to hear me talk from, feel free to let me know. I'd love to see your suggestions. Bye.
You undo one Danny, he'll go back to being Danny, and we all know that Danny's the Danny was. So don't you dare undo me, cause I'll become the true me and go back to doing all the things that Danny does.
But the unrough will be undone if you take the